Leading Through Trust and Inclusion, Servant Leadership at GlobalTech by Solix Reynolds, lead 31002W, Professor Davis. I wrote this starting at the 20th of this year. Introduction to the scenario. Global tech is expanding globally. Rapid growth includes risk, cultural complexity, and past ethical scandal. Challenges: distrust, cultural diversity, aligning global operations with ethical standards, and restoring organizational integrity. Opportunity: by adopting a leadership style rooted in service, humility, and community, global tech can transform culture into one of trust, respect, and shared purpose. Chosen leadership theory: I chose servant leadership. What is servant leadership and why it connects with the Christian/spiritual culture in the context of Nigerian African values, since one of their direct global connects is African. Servant leadership defined: leadership that prioritizes serving others before self-interest, emphasizes empathy, empowerment, community building, ethical behavior, and integrity. Science direct reference link at the end. The model aligns closely with Christian ethical teachings of humility and service, making it intuitively appealing where Christian or heavy spiritual values exist amongst leaders or workforce. And I include a Springer link here. In faith-based or religiously influenced organizations, servant leaderships have been shown to increase trust, spiritual well-being, and collective cohesion. PMC link. Applying servant leadership at GlobalTech, restoring trust and ethics. Implement transparent communication and open listening sessions. Global Listening Week. Create a global ethics task force to reaffirm commitments to integrity, fairness, and respect. Empower regional teams to lead local adaptation. Demonstrate humility and shared leadership rather than top-down command. Use moral leadership, which is more modeling honesty, accountability, and service, to rebuild stakeholder confidence. Fostering inclusivity, diversity, and collaboration through shared values. Launch voluntary cultural humility workshops, which allow for showing respect for cultural differences, but rooted in universal values of care and respect. Form regional advisory councils, giving voice to local perspectives, aka demonstrating servant leadership's commitment to include every voice. Encourage servant-style mentoring, peer support, and community building across regions. Because servant leadership emphasizes empathy, community, and stewardship, it resonates strongly if employees bring Christian or spiritual or broadly humanist values. This makes collaboration not just procedural, but relational. Influence, negotiation, consensus building, and a faith-friendly framework. Use inclusive values-based negotiation, which is build shared visions, emphasizing mutual respect and collective good, rather than purely profit or power. Using servant leadership qualities such as listening, empathy, and humility to foster meaningful consensus across cultural divides. When conflict arises, mediate through trust building rather than hierarchy when possible, encouraging open dialogue and mutual understanding, which principles of that are aligned with the more faith-rated, quote-unquote, moral leadership. Ethical leadership and long-term integrity, leveraging spiritual and ethical foundations. Servant leadership emphasis on ethics, community, and stewardship naturally supports restoring integrity in previously scandal-affected organizations. Actions: anonymous reporting channels, regular transparency reports, publicly owned ethical commitments, cultural codes aligned with respect for dignity and fairness. This approach helps rebuild not only compliance, but a shared ethical identity and culture that is especially powerful if many employees share Christian or otherwise spiritual values. Problem-based learning, innovation, and servanthood culture. This recognizes problems, legacy mistrust, cultural fragmentation, ethical ambiguity, rapid global growth demands. using servant leaderships to empower employees at every level to identify problems and propose solutions. Establish cross-functional innovation pods and regular, quote, learning sprints. Encourage servant-led mentoring and peer development and collaborative decision-making. Servant leadership encourages humility and shared ownership, which strengthens innovation, culture, and accountability across diverse markets. Conclusion: why servant leadership is the best fit. Servant leadership matches the trust, humility, and service in community, which does and especially resonate where Christian spiritual values form part of organizational culture. The model helps rebuild trust, restore ethics, empower employees, and manage cultural diversity with respect and empathy. For GlobalTech's global expansion and ethical recovery, servant leadership offers a sustainable, human-centered path forward, which is not just for compliance, but allows for real transformation. And my references, which are from Leadership Quarterly, Academic of Management Journalship, Frontiers in Psychology, the European Journal of Theology and Philosophy, and the International Journal of Research and Innovation in Social Sciences.